Denise Smith and the Suicide Squad. This is a continuance to the other videos. So this is my property over here on the right. This is where Denise Smith lived. The Hells Angels were going over there, and she was harboring 4 or 5 of the neutral gang members with graffiti on the barn that's consistent with the smiley face killer's graffiti. And in this particular picture, you can see closer, you can see the path that they had down to my house. You can actually see it. It's a little closer. So what is the Suicide Squad about? So we'll move into that next. This is 3 of them from Denise Smith's place. In the middle of the night, they're going onto people's property, walking around in the middle of the night. If you notice, they're wearing night vision goggles, and this one looks like he's got a selfie stick in his hand. This one here, right here in the middle, this girl, that is Denise Smith's daughter. That's her daughter. That is Denise Smith's daughter, which is like, what kind of a mother? It's just shocking. What type of a person and a mother that she is. So this is 3 of them right here. The guys dress the same. They wear the khaki pants, and they wear the gray hoodies, and they got night vision goggles on. They're going on people's property at night with a selfie stick, and this one looks like he's starving. This one here, look how sick he looks. Looks like he's starving. Here's the video. I'm trying to break into my house. And you can see this was another attempted break-in. And he's wearing night vision goggles, so, you know, look familiar. He's climbing to 2nd floor. You can see that this better in some of this better in the other video. So if you watch the other videos, you might need to catch up on this crime story. So here's them with the night vision goggles on, trying to break into my house. Again, that's 2nd floor. This is Denise Smith, and I had recognized this symbol because it was on the barn wall as graffiti, as a gang symbol. And I was questioning her about what their names were, and that was her response. That's their name. And I recognized it at the time as a gang symbol. But now I realize that that's a smiley face killer symbol. So what is the Suicide Squad about? Well, you're looking at the Suicide Squad. According to Denise Smith, from what she told me in 2019, she told me that they call themselves the Suicide Squad. So now this just gets bigger. Here, Denise Smith also made another comment to me, and she said, I don't know, I must have been in cahoots with I won't say it, you know, with the blank next door. She's referring to Jim Talbot. In 2016, somebody broke into my barn, and they had brutally killed my chicken. Brutally. And she's saying what happened to the chicken right here. These people, the animal abuse within this gang and over at Denise Smith's place and is horrific. And she thinks that this is funny. She thinks that's funny. She's throwing that right in my face, like this is real funny. She's referring to Jim Talbert. Now, most people, and I didn't post it, all of it, but over here, way up, this is me, this is Denise Smith's place, but way up here over to the right, that's actually where Jim Talbert lives. So Jim Talbot comes down the back side of my property, or he comes down this way. So I have two neighbors, and it actually turns out we've got a third one, which I haven't posted about yet. So I was surrounded by them, right in the middle of them. I got Denise Smith, the Hells Angels, the Neutral Gang members. Up here, I've got Jim Talbert, who's involved, and he falls into the category like an anarchist. So now you can start to put together the levels of the gang. Who's at the top of the gang, and then you can start to see the organizational structure of it and how many different levels there are. So you got the Neutral Gang members, you have the Hells Angels at the top, you've got the Confederate anarchist type like Jim Talbert. In 2015, this is my little kitten Dracula, and he was stolen from my property. He always stays right here by my deck. And we went out one evening. I was sitting on the deck enjoying, and it was a little bit right around dusk. And he came out with me to play, and he went out. He always stays right by the barn, and he always comes when I call him. He was well trained, and he never came home. Jim Talbot admitted to having him, by the way, and that's recorded. And he admitted to having him, and we never found Dracula. We never found him. And what was interesting about this, in 2015, I happened to be going through my friends list on Facebook, and Jim Talbert was in my Facebook friends list. He was in my friends list, and I was posting about it. And I don't have the post, but I was posting about how in hell he is in my friends list. There is no way I would ever allow him to be on my Facebook page. How did he get on my Facebook friends list? And I was upset about it because he said that he had Dracula. He had him for 3 days, and then we never found Dracula. And then so he knew I was looking for him because he was seeing it on my Facebook page. He was watching it. And I had never let Jim Talbot on my Facebook page. I don't know how he got on. In 2020, somebody came and put Dracula's collar, the collar he was wearing when he went missing, by my deck in 2020. That's his collar that he was wearing when he went missing. This was my other cat's collars that we found them, but these collars were thrown in front of my son's bedroom window. And here's Jim Talbot.
Cat's gonna be dead.
He's threatening to kill another neighbor's cat. So he's coming down and he's killing and attacking neighbors' pets. I mean, this guy is like psycho. He's gone. This guy is gone. He's killing and attacking neighbors' pets. In 2021, I had another incident where something hit the house, and it was a rule, don't go outside till the morning. I go outside the next morning, and there's a dead chipmunk right by my doorstep, and they had thrown it and hit my door so hard, there was actually body fluids from the chipmunk on the door. And that was late at night that happened. And that's some type of psychotic, voodoo, where they're probably, these people are so psychotic, it's like they're probably thinking they're putting some type of a spell on me by doing this and killing an animal as a sacrifice on my house. The animal abuse, I won't post the worst of it, but it is bad. It is really bad, and it is throughout this gang. This was another attempted break-in. It triggered the camera, and whoever it was took off, but they forgot something. I don't know if anybody can notice it. Their glove. So underneath the deck, I had a catio that was fenced in for my pet cats. And I think what he did is he took his glove off so that he could try to undo the catio to get underneath to the window. And there's his glove. So if you look at it, it's a glove. So that's another attempted break-in right there. So if you go and you watch the other videos to understand this, you'll need to, because I can't go over it every single video, and part of it is because I'm a victim and I can't do too much of this at a time. But I think it's important to put as much information out there at this point, because I'm really afraid that something's going to happen to me, and I want my story told, and I want people to know who's involved with this, because it gets worse. It gets a lot worse. This is the incident that happened. You can see the other videos to see all of this. But this is Jim Talbot, a black satanic mirror. This is a reflection that came from the mirror. This is another one from I recognize from Denise Smith's place. And he's attacking my cat. And for the full story, what they did is they drugged me while I was sleeping. And they gang raped me. And they attacked my pets. And you'll have to go to the other videos to see, if you want to see this video and the other videos of it, you'll have to go through my video list and you'll see them. So this is another one with Denise Smith. So now we have 4. Now you go down here. This is the scariest one. This is truly the scariest one. This here, although it's maybe a little difficult to see, is in the night they came to my house on this night, and this was another attempted break-in. And you can take some of the still pictures and lighten them, because you can see them, but you just need to lighten them sometimes so that you can see more of what's going on. And in this video, what you see is it is a guy's head right here, and he's holding something. And it looks like it's an animal's head. And then there's another guy right here. And you can almost see like his fingers are coming down. And if you go to the Facebook page or the Twitter page, you can see this picture. You can see this picture better. But what this is that Denise Smith was telling me in 2019, she was telling me that she had a schizophrenic living with her at the barn, and it's one of these gang members. And that he only comes out at night, and that he mutilates animals. And then she told me that one of her dogs had puppies, 6 puppies, and that he slit the throat of all 6 puppies. He killed them. This is the schizophrenic. He only comes out at night, and what he's doing is he's holding up an animal's head to my camera. He's walking up to my camera. And it's so dark out, and given that they're wearing camouflage, but if you lighten the picture some, you can see it. As odd as that may be, that's there. This is Denise Smith. I caught her beating on a little dog. And so in 2019, what happened is her barn burnt down. Her barn burnt down. You can see the barn in the back. And they ran all of her animals, all the animals that were over there, they ran them all over to my place. Not all of them, but most of them. And she had some boarders there, which was shocking that the boarders didn't do anything or call animal control on her. But they ran them all over to my property. And the animals were all starving. They were all emaciated. This was the little pony.
This is the way the pony came here. and I'm trying to get weight, add grain and bread to help get him.
So I was documenting all the animals, and it was through my documentation and videos that finally animal control came down, and I believe they told me that they were finally being able to take some of the animals from her, because apparently this was an ongoing issue. This little pony, there were 3 of them. Now there's only 1. And I'm really sad to think about what happened to the other 2. This is just an example. There was 1 horse that came out of that barn that they trailered up right away. That was so bad it looked like it was a walking skeleton. It was so horrific. And she was hiding it in the barn. So this horse is like 2018. See this horse? She would put the horses on my property without my permission, and then I would have to go tell her to get them off, and this is one of those times. But if you look at this horse, she had just gotten this horse. The horse can see, the horse is in good shape, the horse is running around, the horse is healthy. But it can see the fence. This is the same horse after 1 year in Denise Smith's care. That's the same exact horse. They ran it over. They brought it over from the barn fire. Battered, starved, and the horse is now blinded. This is like the 3rd horse that I know of that has gone blind. She's saying is blind in Denise's care. This is when she first got the horse. I had to go tell her to get her off my property. This is what happens to him in Denise's care. It's absolutely disgusting. And it's not just 1 horse, it's multiple horses, and it's multiple animals. The animal abuse throughout this gang, with a schizophrenic that only comes out at night, that mutilates animals, is living over there as one of the neutral gang members. This is when she finally got the rest of her stuff off my property from that barn fire. Take a good look at her. And she knows that this is happening. She knows that those gang members are coming to my house. She knows it. She's involved with it. Now this is September of 2019. This incident that took place right here, this incident was April of 2019. But we hadn't discovered everything about this video until I got forensic involved. And here she is at my house with her animals, knowing what they're doing to me, and knowing what they've done to me, and knowing that they're killing my animals, and she thinks it's funny. Take a good look at her. That right there is like, to me, that's evil. That is like the most evil you could possibly get. And she thinks it's nothing. She doesn't think nothing of it. She thinks it's funny. So in 2019, when her horses were here, that's when she was telling me about the schizophrenic that comes out at night and mutilates animals. And that's when she was telling me that, because these guys came to the house one time, my house, because the horses were there, and they came over to my house, to the barn, to see Denise Smith. And I told her I don't want to ever see them again on my property. I don't want them back here. And I was telling her, I want these horses off the property. And here they are. And that's when she told me that they call themselves the Suicide Squad. You're looking at the Suicide Squad. I have to take a breath because I get so mad. I look at this video and I get shocked. I can not have enough bad or negative words that I can think of or say that would even touch, just even a little bit of the evil that this woman is. And I'm not very religious either. But this is horrific. And it gets worse. Okay, so this is the Battle Ridge Road, and this is the Bell Squeeze Road that comes down this way. This here was a little old lady who lived all by herself, and she was an older lady, and she didn't have much family. So I was up here knocking on her door in 2015 looking for my cat Dracula. Thought maybe, hopes to keep looking for him. And I thought that might be a place that he'd go if he was still alive. And after Jim Talbot did whatever he did to him. And there was a I didn't know anybody that lived there at the time. Nobody was answering the door. There was a dead cat out front. And then there was a chain that looked like a dog chain that went from the post on the steps, and it went down into the ground. If I'd known what was going on at the time, I would have videotaped it all. But it was taut, like you'd trip over it. And I pulled on it a little bit, and it actually, like collar, you could see like a leather collar starting to come out of the ground with some hair on it. So I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything else. There were also skulls and heads of goats on the property. And I was like, there's no way anybody lives here. And I left a flyer for my cat. Okay, so you speed this up to 2019. And Denise Smith told me in 2019 that she was taking care of this lady that lived in this house. She told me that she was, I'm not kidding, she told me she was a home health nurse. She was calling herself a home health nurse, and that she was taking care of this lady with her daughter's boyfriends, which she's referring to these two guys right here, and that they were helping taking care of her property. That she was bedbound, and that I remember she also said that she couldn't talk. And in medical terms, bedbound is like somebody who's a quadriplegic who can't physically get out of bed. And that's why she was helping her. But bedbound, coming from Denise Smith, is not good. It probably has a whole completely different meaning. And the thing is Denise Smith is not no home health nurse. She's calling herself a licensed nurse. And that she was up here taking care of this lady. This is very scary because I'm seeing that this lady is another victim. The house is torn down now. Denise Smith said that she couldn't take care of her anymore, and that in 2015 she had to call an ambulance and have her taken to the hospital because she couldn't take care of her anymore. But in 2019, that's what she was telling me. That she was a nurse taking care of this lady. And as far as I'm concerned, that lady is another victim. And that is super scary. It is super horrifying to think that Denise Smith was taking care of anybody. Can you imagine her taking care of you or anyone in your family with these two guys? And that you're bedbound? I don't think it means I don't think it means like she couldn't get up. I think it means they made it so she couldn't get up. This lady is like unbelievably scary. So what we have right now is we have neutral gang members connected to the Hells Angels criminal organization. These are from Denise Smith's place. They smile into a black satanic mirror while committing horrific crimes. Here's him. There's his reflection. He's smiling, is in the mirror. They have graffiti on the barn wall that is consistent with the smiley face killer's graffiti. They're drugging in gang rape, animal abuse and mutilation throughout the gang. Gang symbol matches the smiley face killer's gang symbol. The younger neutral gang members call themselves the Suicide Squad, per Denise Smith. The Suicide Squad. Anybody catching on to that? That's the Suicide Squad. I don't know. I can't emphasize it enough. That's like a big hint. A big hint. Attempted break-ins and stalking. They walk around at night on people's properties with selfie sticks, night vision goggles. They're wearing all the neutral gang uniform. They live off-grid with other gang members and they move around. They've got a schizo with them that mutilates animals and only comes out at night. And wait for it. You think it got worse. No. This is where it gets really bad. Child Protective Services in Maine, DHHS, is allowing her to take care of little children. And yes, oh yes, I have called. I have called and I called. And it was because of my videos, also because of my videos, they were able to come in and do something to help these animals. Finally. Also, somewhere along the way, in 2019, I got a call from my oil company telling me that I was already over 100 gallons more than normal. And it's a flag in their system, so they called me to tell me about it. And I couldn't figure out how anybody would be stealing my oil because my tank is inside, a 250-gallon tank that's inside my garage. Well, now we know how I lost 100 gallons of oil. I'm convinced they stole 100 gallons of oil. They stole it from the tank, but they inside the garage because they're inside my house. So, as I mentioned in the other video, I found this months later online, and it was courtesy of Ken Gannon and Anthony Duarte. And what I realized is that I'm dealing with are the smiley face killers, and that is what Denise Smith is saying. That's why she's using that symbol. She's telling me who they are. I'm asking them what their names are, and her response is the same as the smiley face killers. I recognize it as a gang symbol, but now I know better that it is the smiley face killers. And these guys call themselves the Suicide Squad. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to stop figuring this out. And I have lots more of video. And I am furious about this. I can only take this in pieces. And as a victim, this is really difficult for me to do. But I have to put everything out there. I have to start putting it all out there because I want people to know. I want them to see, and I want them to know who's involved, and I want them to know what they did to me, and I want justice. I cannot believe that this woman is involved with this. She's not, and she's and her animals are all on my property, and she acts like it's nothing. She acts like this is like it's absolutely nothing, knowing what they were doing to me. Knowing that they were in my house, knowing that they were stalking me, knowing that I was a victim of something that horrific. And there was another time that I caught her, it was around dusk, and I caught her bringing a guy onto the backside of my property, and he was a tall guy I had never seen before. And I asked her, "What are you doing?" I opened the window from my house. I said, "What are you doing on my property? What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, oh, I just wanted to show him your barn." And I said, "Why are you showing anybody my barn? You aren't using my barn. My barn is shut down. You don't go showing anybody my barn. Get off my property." But now I know why she's bringing him down, don't I? That's what she was doing. That's why there's a path on the backside of my property. And she acts like this is nothing. She thinks it's funny. She's laughing. She thinks that this is all a big joke, that this is funny, what they did to my chicken. And she was the only one, by the way, in the area that had goats. So this lady that had there was goat heads on that property, Denise Smith is the only one that has goats in the area. And if this lady's bedbound, I doubt very much she has anything to do with it. The cat's dead out front. The dog looked like it was buried out back. It was just buried alive. And these two guys are the ones who are taking care of the property, with Denise Smith saying that she's her nurse. I have identified about 9 additional victims in this case. 9 additional victims in this case. And we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6. So we got we got 9 additional victims. And I keep trying to tell the authorities about it over and over again. Now, how many more victims do you think there's going to be right now? How many more? I had later found out that Denise Smith is connected to this guy. This guy is also an image in the mirror. He's in my house, and he has my cat, and he's attacking my cat. I found him with the help of private investigators, and his name is Edward. And so I'm going to go ahead and make a good video on him and everything about each individual member of this gang that I've identified, and each individual one that I have found in the mirror that I have identified. And he's going to be next, I think. I think this is a good one, that he's next. And this guy was stalking me in Skowhegan, by the way, on video. And Skowhegan is where Tina Staggard went missing. And he was also stalking me. There were others stalking me in Skowhegan as well. And so Edward is going to be next. And Denise Smith is also connected to this guy, Edward. So if you want these videos, subscribe, and you can get notified of when I upload the other video. And I'm doing the best that I can. And I ask everybody to be patient, with me a little bit, because this is all new to me. But I need to get this stuff out because I want people to know what they've done. This is so horrific. And that today, as far as I know, they're still walking free. This is not a joke. This is truly, truly not a joke. I have had a licensed clinical social worker that broke a big piece of this case. I have talked to professionals. I have talked to multiple forensic. I have even private investigators who have done who have done some real good work with me, and gave me some great information. Although we do have one investigator. We do have one private investigator that did something very strange that I have recorded, and I hope to get to that video at some point so I can put that recording out there, because that's a very interesting one that I want everybody to hear what that private investigator did, which was very unusual. And I want people to know, I absolutely believe if something happens to me, I believe this is the Smiley Face Killers. And I do believe that they're gang. I do believe it's a criminal organization within it's a structure. And I do believe that there are cells. And I believe that this is a cell in Maine. You're looking at it. She's throwing it right in my face. She's saying it right there to everybody. Who are they, Denise? She's saying it. We're the Smiley Face Killers. That's what she's saying. I'm convinced of it. We're the gang. We're the Suicide Squad. What is the Suicide Squad going to do as a component of the criminal organization that's the Smiley Face Killers? What is the Suicide Squad's job? What's their job? Why would they call themselves that? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. You're looking at it. You're looking at another one right here. I have several of them identified. So Edward is going to be next. This one you don't want to miss. Subscribe for notifications.